A recent video critiquing the state of YouTube commentary videos has caused a bit of controversy, and as a small player in the commentary niche, I just want to weigh in with some of my own experiences and observations. If you haven't seen the video, I have a link in the description. It's by the creator Doothi, and at the time of this recording, it's titled "Commentary is Low-Key Bad." Essentially, this video accuses a lot of commentary content of being repetitive and shallow, with creators recycling the same topics and offering commentary that's superficial, obvious, or regurgitated from other videos. Personally, I don't agree with all the points made in this video or the particular way they were made, but I do think a lot of the criticisms raised are valid about some commentary content. One of the main points I disagree with her on is she pins the blame on the lost art of rhetoric.
Seeing this inability to cover topics is not only a hallmark of surface skimming commentary content, but indicative of the lost art of rhetoric. These feel more like reaction videos masquerading as commentary, not for a lack of effort, but for a genuine inability and rhetorical skill that we as an internet culture have neglected.
While I do think there is some truth to this, more often than not, my perspective is it's not that these YouTubers lack the ability to formulate compelling rhetoric, it's that they choose not to because they don't have to. And also, I don't think viewers lack the capacity to appreciate good rhetoric, they're just willing to accept mediocre rhetoric. Low-effort commentary videos often perform as well as high-effort commentary videos. The question facing creators is, why invest the time and effort into writing, researching, and editing a carefully crafted think piece when they could churn out low-effort, cookie-cutter content and get similar results? As a creator, you can do the bare minimum and still have a decent chance at success. You can make a successful video that recycles a topic that's already been covered by multiple channels, retreads the same talking points as other videos, and offers superficial commentary that only points out the most obvious things about the topic and presents the most obvious responses to those things.
So many of these videos create commentary on something so obvious that it ends up being long videos saying, "Isn't this obviously terrible thing terrible?"
So for creators, it's tempting to take that low-effort path, especially if you're a smaller channel trying to get exposure. Quantity over quality is a pretty good formula for growth. You don't really have to bring anything new to the table. You could even go as far as just using someone else's video as a template for your own. Now, that doesn't mean you can straight up plagiarize a video. That'll bite you in the ass sooner or later. But recycling someone else's videos just kind of in your own words, you can get away with that. So I don't believe most creators lack the ability to make better content. They lack the incentive. And what really sucks is that even if you do have higher ambitions to make more original, high-quality content, those types of videos can and often do flop. I've had videos that I put a lot of work into that straight up bombed. And when that happens, it's easy to feel like, why the hell am I putting all this time and effort into this stuff that's just gonna flop? I may as well crank out low-effort slop. I'm going to admit something. I've done this. In the past, I've tried to participate in the economy of low-quality commentary to some degree. In fact, there was a brief period a couple years ago when my channel was doing poorly despite putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I got so frustrated that I decided I was going to throw the whole quality and effort thing out the window for a while. So I posted one video that was intentionally low effort, but after doing that, I realized I couldn't keep it up because I didn't feel good about that video. It wasn't bad, but it was mediocre enough that I didn't want to promote it. In fact, I was kind of embarrassed about it. The thought of newcomers judging my channel based on that video made me uncomfortable, so I eventually unlisted it and reworked my strategy. That's what made me realize I had a certain standard of quality I had to aim for to feel at peace with my own content. I'm not saying my videos are works of art. There are some I put a lot of effort into and then unlisted them because I thought they weren't good enough. But I tried to make them good because I can't stand the feeling of crapping out slop just to get views. At least on my main channel. Don't get me wrong, if I ever get popular enough that people will watch me do low-effort reaction content, I'm gonna do it. I mean, why not? It's easy money. So I never phoned it in again after that, but I would still occasionally dip into the pool of oversaturated topics with shallow commentary, where my only significant contribution was humor.
My commentary recommendations recently have been feeling like such nothing content.
Overconsumption is bad.
It's funny that she says this because I actually made an overconsumption is bad video. Overconsumption was a trending topic at the time. Still kind of is. So I decided to make a video about it, even though I didn't really want to, not because I don't care about overconsumption at all. I do care about the environmental impact, but I had nothing new to add to the discourse and no burning desire to weigh in on it. Still, it was a hot topic that I thought had potential for high views, so I ran with it and just tried to have some fun with it. As far as the commentary goes, there isn't much substance to that video. I don't think I said anything that hadn't already been said many times by many others. In fact, when I was originally writing the script for that video, I got to the end and realized I didn't have a conclusion to tie it all together, so I tacked on this little moral about we should be more thoughtful about what we consume. Now let me make something clear here. I hate doing this. There are several videos of mine that I made begrudgingly because I didn't really care about the topics. I chose them because I thought they would perform well. One of the sins supposedly committed by slop commentary is padding out the length of videos.
We'll get 30-minute long videos playing TikToks that demonstrate clear overconsumption, only for the commentator to repeat overconsumption, capitalism, consumerism, performative, over and over again while reacting to TikToks, all to pad the video's length.
Now, the explanation for why creators do this is simple. The longer viewers watch, the better a video performs. If YouTube sees that a lot of people watched an entire 30-minute long video, it's going to perform better than if it were 15 minutes long. So creators have learned that you can kinda game the system by padding out the length of videos with, again, minimal effort. They're sort of employing tricks to get longer runtime. This might take the form of being purposely redundant and repeating things they already said, or throwing in superfluous clips or excerpts, or talking about extraneous stuff that isn't relevant to the topic, like the history of spoons or something. Maybe that's an interesting topic on its own, but in this context, it's only being included to eat up time. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't pad out my videos with fluff, but sometimes I want to. My aim on my main channel is to make lean videos. After I finish writing a script, I cut like 10% of the script before filming, and then after filming, I cut another 10% in the editing phase. And sometimes that process of trimming the fat leaves me with a final video that's shorter than I would like it to be. And I know I could easily make the video longer. There are times when I go, man, the runtime on this video is pretty short. I could make it longer by just throwing in some more TikToks. But I resist the impulse to do that because it's more important to me that the video is tight. I don't want the brand of my channel to be low effort commentary with padded out runtimes. I say what I want to say or what I feel like needs to be said, and then I'm out. And to be clear, I don't think long videos are bad. Long videos are fine with me as long as they have substance, or at least an attempt to offer substance. There are some commentary channels that regularly post videos that are over an hour long, and I'm cool with those because I believe the creators actually have that much to say. I'm just opposed to inflating videos with what are essentially time-wasting tricks. Now, to be fair, it's a little hard to criticize commentary content for being fluff when the nature of commentary content itself is kind of fluffy. To me, commentary as a YouTube genre sits between reaction and video essay. On one end of the spectrum is reaction content, which is nothing but the creator's in-the-moment reactions without forethought. On the other end of the spectrum is video essay content, which is crafted with meticulous care, thoughtful writing, and heavy research. The value proposition is the information and/or the thought-provoking points of view. And between those two is commentary, which as a genre has come to imply some level of craft and premeditated thought, usually with a fully written script. And it's generally understood that the quality is below that of a typical video essay. That's the reason I chose to brand my channel as commentary. I didn't want to be held to the higher standards of video essays. I want to be like some guy in the room who's making a good point about something, right? Like we're at a party and I'm just going, hey, you ever notice this? And what about this? And people always say this, but that doesn't make sense. And you go, oh yeah, I never thought about that. I guess that's a good point. I'm not trying to write an essay or deliver a lecture. So with some of the example videos Doothi accuses of being shallow, I think she's right, but it's also a moot point because the videos in question aren't meant to be viewed as commentary. Like she puts Jarvis Johnson on blast, but Jarvis's new videos these days are posted to his second channel, which exists specifically as an outlet for low-effort reaction content. That's the whole point of his second channel. It's not intended to be capital C commentary the way his main channel is. So I think Doothi misidentifies the genre here. And also, commentary doesn't need to be thought-provoking or even serious. It can be frivolous. I think that's a hallmark of the genre, that it can flip-flop between serious social commentary and trivial topics that are being poked fun at just for a silly old time, with no value beyond entertainment. Danny Gonzalez's whole brand is basically specializing in topics that are frivolous, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, when you watch Danny Gonzalez, you know he's not going to cover serious topics that bum you out or make you upset. We're just here to laugh. But it seems to me like Doothi kind of lumps both types of commentary together and criticizes all of it for not being deep enough, when in reality, some of those videos are purposely not trying to be deep. Also, even if these criticisms were completely accurate, ultimately, a lot of viewers simply don't care. They don't care that multiple channels talk about the same subjects. You'll see some commenters say things like, "This is the 5th video I've watched about this topic, lol." I've done this too. In fact, ironically, Doothi's video is like the 10th video I've watched about the low quality of YouTube commentary. And also, ironically, this video I'm filming right now is like the 10th video that's been made about Doothi's video. Anyway, in the commentary space, one of the big selling points is the personality of a creator. Viewers are watching for the creator more than the topic, so they don't really care that they're hearing about the same thing again. Commentary content is more like a virtual hangout for some people. They want to feel like they're hanging out in a room with an opinionated person who's yapping about some shit. They don't need the commentary to be deep or enlightening or even funny. And from that perspective, it makes sense that videos that are shallow and needlessly long still perform well. In the same way you'd be happy to spend an extended amount of time with a friend, fans are like, "Yay, I get to have a virtual hangout with this creator for 40 whole minutes." But still, Doothi makes a valid criticism that I think a lot of people have overlooked, which is that many commentary videos, or even essay videos, have an element of false advertising, so to speak. Some videos and channels signal, either overtly or implicitly, that they offer more substance or depth than they actually do. This could be the title and thumbnail, the style of the videos, the creator saying things like, "Let's do a deep dive into this topic," or "Let's explore that further," and then they don't actually go deeper on anything. I watch video essays about movies and shows and games, and anyone who watches enough of that stuff has encountered an occasional video where a creator proclaims to do some kind of analysis or deep dive, but as the video progresses, it becomes clear that it's basically like just summarizing a movie or describing scenes in great detail, but not adding anything new on top of that. No observations, no insights, no opinions, no interesting trivia, just this happens, then this happens, then this happens, all being done under the veneer of thought-provoking video essay. So again, I don't agree with all of Doothi's specific examples, but I do agree there is a false advertising element to some of this type of content, and it's fair to call that out. And I believe this type of critique serves a good purpose because it puts extra pressure on creators to make better content. And I think one of the ways it does that is by waking viewers up to what they're actually consuming. You know, it's easy to fall into a trance-like state of content consumption where slop is being shoveled into our faces and we don't really question it because it's content. And this goes beyond YouTube. It could be any type of media. And sometimes in order to snap out of that trance, it takes a person going, "Hey, have you guys noticed this stuff isn't very good?" I've had this happen to me. There was a video essay channel I used to watch on YouTube until one day I saw a comment online pointing out how superficial the content actually was. But it had this surface level appearance of being deep and thought-provoking. It wasn't until I saw that criticism that it clicked for me and I went, "Oh yeah. Now that I think about it, I never did get much out of that channel's videos." A common response I've seen to Doothi's video is people saying, "Oh, if you don't like it, just don't watch it." But I don't think it's out of line to complain about the quality of something you enjoy. And if I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like Doothi enjoys watching YouTube commentary. To me, her video doesn't feel much different than other YouTube videos complaining about bad movies or bad TV shows or bad games or bad books. Like if you enjoy a type of content, you want it to be good. I feel like it's also worth pointing out there's a bit of irony in her criticisms because in some ways she does the same things she accuses others of doing. Her last 5 videos, including this newest one, are all based on topics that were kind of played out by the time she got to them because they had already been through the YouTube commentary circuit, and her talking points are essentially the same as what were already in those other videos. Personally, I don't mind that much because she strikes me as being sincere. I think she picks topics she's genuinely interested in and she says what she genuinely wants to say. So even if she ends up bringing nothing substantially new to a particular subject, I still like it because I appreciate the earnestness.